Welcome to the House of D. Glad you stumbled upon my channel. Going to be continuing on the Rise of Skywalker comic series for you. Of course, we're going to talk about all the cool things that we learned in the second issue of this series that dropped earlier this week. So this issue is, of course, the second issue of the series, and it starts off right where the first issue left off, which you may remember, particularly if you saw my video. Kylo Ren was basically contemplating and chose that he was going to try and meet up with the Knights of Ren. He is still with Snoke at this point, as you can see. Okay, so let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this. So, yeah, this is the second issue in a row where we see Snoke and Ben Solo embracing in a way that suggests that their relationship is more than just buddy-buddy, right? Now, obviously, spoiler alert for The Rise of Skywalker, which is funny, we got The Rise of Skywalker, The Rise of Kylo Ren, but nonetheless, in that movie, you see that he kisses Rey, which obviously suggests that he is attracted to women. But looking at this relationship that he has with Snoke, it's, I don't know, seems like Kylo Ren may be bi here. But either way, that's great. Do you. Be happy, you do you. Just kind of surprising to me here. But nonetheless, him and Snoke continue to talk about, his next move, and that is where, again, they do establish that he should indeed go seek out the Knights of Ren, because Snoke wants to advance Ben Solo's training, or whatever new name he, chooses, which we know which one he chooses, Kylo Ren. But he wants to advance his training, but does think that the Knights of Ren can teach him some things, particularly about combat, that he's not going to be able to teach Kylo Ren in his decrepit, deformed form there. So that is interesting that Snoke, aka the Emperor, as we all know, spoiler alerts for The Rise of Skywalker, that he's realizing that, Ben does need some combat training that, unfortunately, this clone of this Snoke guy, he's not able to provide. The very next scene in this issue is actually a flashback to an earlier time. Luke and Ben are the only two Jedi right now. And Ben's not a full-fledged Jedi. He's, of course, being taught by the Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker. There's also another character named Lore, who is not a Jedi, but is accompanying Luke and Ben to an ancient Jedi temple that has been located on a planet that is near the unknown regions. So Luke is taking his apprentice to this temple. Ben is actually lamenting this a little bit. I mean, he's certainly excited that they're going to go see some Jedi artifacts, but he, in his head, he laments about the fact that Luke's just going to take this stuff and lock it away. And all the while this is happening, Snoke is also in his head kind of prodding him along, thinking along those lines. So that's definitely interesting. We see that Snoke and Ben have obviously had some sort of relationship for quite some time. Nonetheless, though, they do find this ancient Jedi temple. It looks really cool. It's carved into the side of the mountain. So they certainly are excited, both Luke and Ben, about what could be inside. And when they do go inside, they do find a treasure trove of Jedi artifacts. Now, this is where this issue really gets cool. So they enter the temple, they see all of these ancient Jedi artifacts, but the Knights of Ren come in right behind them. And at first, the Knights of Ren, they're all smug. The main Knight of Ren, who's just called Ren, he has his own red lightsaber. So they are, just in case you weren't aware, the Knights of Ren are dark side adepts. They're not like full-blown Sith or anything, but they do have this power that they call the shadow, and they actually seek strong people that have this shadow as well. So they end up getting pwned by Luke, right? Like, Luke is trying to tell him, listen, get out of here. Stop talking smack. Can we just cut to the point to where you run out of here screaming? The Knights of Ren obviously don't believe him. They obviously think that they are strong, but they get completely pwned. This is the Luke Skywalker that we wanted to see in The Last Jedi. It was why that was such a disappointment. But we get to see here, maybe not his full power, obviously, but we see that he takes out a number of people. The Knights of Ren are obviously skilled at fighting. Like I said, one of them even has a lightsaber, and they even have this dark side power called the Shadow. But Luke just handles them like they are nothing. Completely pwns them. At this point, the leader of the Knights of Ren, who again is named Ren, realizes it's not going to happen. They're defeated, so he yields. He takes his mask off, though, and starts talking to Ben Solo. He senses the shadow, the dark side of the Force, within Ben Solo, and basically offers him a place in the Knights of Ren. Luke, of course, isn't having any of this, and basically is like, listen, you need to leave now, or I'm gonna destroy you. He complies, again, being fully beaten here, but he leaves his helmet on the temple floor, which we will talk about in just a few moments. Now, the next scene catches back up with Ben Solo. He has re-entered this temple in the present timeline and has picked up the helmet because he can communicate with Ren, which he does. But as he's doing that, the 3 Jedi that we saw in the first issue that he kept alive have now cornered him in this ancient Jedi temple, and that is where this issue ends. So again, this is another great issue in this series. I'm thoroughly enjoying the rise of Kylo Ren, all the great stuff that we're learning, and particularly in this issue, it is awesome to see him and Luke Skywalker together when he was younger, and again to see Luke Skywalker absolutely obliterate the Knights of Ren. Again, that is the Luke Skywalker that we all wanted to see, so it was a great payoff. You can actually see him be a similar type of badass in a comic book series that came out just before The Force Awakens. So definitely check that out if you want to see more Luke Skywalker badassery. Other than that, guys, I hope to see you back here again on the House of D channel. If you've enjoyed the content so far and you haven't already, please give this video a like. Comment and let me know what you thought of the issue if you've read it, or what do you think about what we've learned in this issue, the creepy relationship between Ben Solo and Snoke, seeing Luke Skywalker in his Jedi full glory. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you're not a subscriber already, please consider doing so. And you can, of course, follow me on Twitter at dsquare72. Until next time, guys, as always, peace and love, and we'll see you again soon.